And welcome to CBBT News, where we give you the lowdown on the latest cars, news and reviews from across the world. Right now, I'm at the Volkswagen stand at the Frankfurt International Motor Show. And right next to me is the future of Volkswagen. They've pegged all their hopes on this particular hatchback. It's called the ID3 fully electric hatchback. It comes in three derivatives. You can actually have one with the highest capacity battery, 77 kilowatts, that lasts you 560 kilometers. And of course, you want the middle tire one, then you can get 420 kilometers out of a 58 kilowatt battery. And of course, you can have a 330 kilometer version with a lower capacity battery. Now the thing is, you can interswap these batteries with ease. So if you're traveling to Nairobi and Mombasa, which is about 500 kilometers, then you do need the 560 kilometer battery. So you can do a swap and then you can have full range. If you're driving an Uber, for example, you can drive this particular car with a 330 kilometer battery, charge it once. Speaking of charging, you do have a fast charger. You can charge it from 0 to 80% in 30 minutes if you have a supercharger facility. But if you have a normal power outlet like at home when you're having 240 volts, then you can do about 7 to 8 hours on full charge. Question is, do you think this particular ID3 is the future of Volkswagen? Send us your thoughts as seen on social media handles below, and we'll read the feedback next week. On to our next news item. This is a brand new Land Rover Defender, the worst kept secret in 10 years, ever since the LRX concept was launched 10 years ago. Now this is now the final product. What do you think? Do you think this particular vehicle will live to its heritage? Send us your thoughts on our social media handles as seen below. Do you like this, guys? Is it a hit or a miss? Now, as you can still see, it still has that typical Land Rover profiling. You have the clamshell bonnet, of the floating roofline, and of course you can see the bulging edges that makes this car very butch and very tough. Now this particular one is the first edition with this color called the Pangea green. It's very interesting. It looks mattish with some metallic finish, but then again you can tell that this particular car has a wide stance. I actually think that it might just be based on the Land Rover Discovery 4. We do not know yet, but we'll find out once you get in touch with the car, drive it and feel it. And of course, Land Rover have re-engineered this particular car to be as tough, to ensure that the Land Rover name has been maintained. So the first edition that's coming out is the 110, which is the 4-door, 5-door saloon, and then you have this 90, and then eventually the 130 station wagon is going to come out very soon. And we at CBBT are going to be the first to give you the lowdown on when this particular vehicle comes to Kenya and the engine derivatives. Another question would be what types of engines. Obviously, because of our quality of our fuel, we're going to have the 2-liter diesel, the 2 states of tune, and of course for the higher power, higher punching vehicle on the 130, we're going to have an inline 6. So imagine the silky smoothness of a 6-cylinder, and of course the efficiency of a turbo diesel. That is going to be something amazing.
Hi and welcome to CBBT. My name is Birigi and we're here at the Frankfurt International Motor Show at the Volkswagen stand, just to give you a bit of information on the new logo that Volkswagen is doing. They say it's about vibrant energy. You can see that expressed in this car. This is the ID Vision concept car, just to give you a basic understanding of what it is that they're looking for in the future. Vibrant energy. The logo now is flat. It's not 3D anymore because it has to fit on more things than just the front of a car. Think about mobility as a whole. It's going to have to fit on a website. It's going to have to fit on printers all over the place. Just making sure that it's a thinner and lighter version of the logo for a new generation. Vibrant energy.
So guys, that's it. Now it's time to sample the brand new Ford Ranger Raptor exclusively on CBB TV. Stay tuned.
Because Ranger is built Ford tough.
Well, today it's a beautiful day. I'm in Appington, South Africa on a salt flat, sampling the brand new Ford Ranger Raptor. Why introduce the Ranger Raptor to Sub-Saharan Africa?
Well, Trev, you know, the way we look at it is that Ranger is an incredibly popular vehicle. And, you know, the way Ford Motor Company looked at it is we believed that we could build the ultimate expression of an off-road vehicle that would really celebrate and reward the enthusiast driver, especially on dirt roads. And that's what the Ranger Raptor is all about. It's a purpose-built, high-speed, off-road vehicle built in conjunction with our Ford Performance division. So it's really the epitome of what you can do with a pickup.
Now, I've just seen footage of the vehicle being assembled in Silverton, Pretoria, and it's amazing how Ford has the faith to build this car in Africa. What's your take on that? Has it increased jobs in South Africa? Has it increased capacity within the facility? What's your take on that?
Well, all of the above. And, you know, we've been investing in our facility in Silverton over the last 10 years. We've invested over 10 billion Rand in South Africa into the facility. This last investment was 3 billion Rand. And that was really about ensuring we had the capability to build the Ranger Raptor. Of course, it's 150 mils wider, but it's also the technology that comes along with it. And part of that has been about job creation in South Africa, expansion, supporting the local economy, and also supporting the export business. So it's been an absolute win-win for not only our loyal Ford enthusiasts, but also for the South African economy, and also for the markets that we export to. So we believe it's been a fantastic program for us.
Finally, I know Ford has an expansion strategy in Sub-Saharan Africa. Some are known and not known. So what's your take in the next 5 years? Where do you expect Ford to be in Sub-Saharan Africa?
Well, Ford, we continue to look at Sub-Saharan Africa as a very key market, key growth area of the global automotive world. And you look at everywhere else in the world, the economy has emerged, the vehicle industries have emerged, barring Sub-Saharan Africa. And there's going to be a point in time where Sub-Saharan Africa is going to be poised to take off. And we want to make sure that Ford is very well poised to be able to take advantage of that. And that's why Ranger, built in Silverton and supporting Sub-Saharan Africa, is such a crucial product. You know, we know that this is the sort of vehicle that Africa needs. And we firmly believe that Ranger will be up to the task and meet the challenge head on. So we have a very high optimism in terms of where Sub-Saharan Africa is going to go.
So coming right in the cabin of this spacious Ranger Raptor, and clearly you can see the DNA is actually a proper Ranger. It's been updated, subtle differences of course. You have stitched dashboard with the blue stitching that reflects the Raptor color and the color that's on the body, which is blue, and then you do have a red strip and of course Raptor on the 3-spoke steering wheel. The highlight of this particular vehicle is the center console. Of course, you do have the touchscreen that has navigation, climate control, radio, and Ford Sync 3. Ford Sync 3 allows you to control certain aspects of this particular car without taking your hands off or when you're off-roading in the Raptor, and of course allows you to enjoy the beautiful sound courtesy of a 6-speaker audio system. It even has CD if you still have CDs. Moving over to the instrument binnacle, you do have a dual tachometer system. Now this design is slightly different. The italics on the speedometer are different from the Ranger. Why? Because this is Ford performance design. If you look closely to the Ford Focus RS or the Mustang, they have similar italics on the dial. So you do have your speedometer on your right, the tachometer on your left, and in between you do have the information system that allows you to toggle through certain functions of the gearbox as well as the vehicle dynamics. As you move closer here to the steering wheel, you do have satellite buttons. So these ones control literally all the aspects of the vehicle, including telephone, volume, and the media control center. The seats comfortable enough, hugging, because you'll be cruising on the rough roads of Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. At the back, the space is also amazing. You do have plenty of space at the back. It fits 3 people comfortably, and they're all strapped in. And of course, you do have quite a number of airbags protecting you and your family while driving the Raptor. Again, on the steering wheel on the right side, you have cruise control that allows you to control and vary your speed while on the highway. You don't have to be caught by cops, guys, so you have to be very, very careful. You do have paddle shifters as well to explore the full potential of the 157 kilowatt engine, and it's a 10-speeder, so you can actually go down, jump 3 or 4 gears down or up, depending on if you're on sport mode, and you'll be able to explore the power of this new bi-turbo engine. Looking closely to the gearbox console, you do have a standard gearbox as well. You do have the park, reverse, neutral drive, and manual mode, and of course you do have the 2 high, 4 low, and 4 high. Now these particular settings are very important so that you're able to get the maximum grip that you desire at any given surface. This being a Raptor enhances all that feature on the terrain management system, and now you do have extra modes like Baja or Badger mode as they call it, and you're able to drive this car like a madman. I do believe in the horse, and the automobile is just but a transitory phenomenon. Those are the words of Emperor William II, who did not believe in the power of the automobile. Welcome to Cars with Big Boy Trev. This is a special edition, and today we are at the home, the Mecca of the motor vehicle. We're in Daimler Museum in Stuttgart, Germany, and right now just going to give you a breakthrough of what happened, how Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler came together to create the first car in 1886. As you know, back in the day, there were so many things. Horses were the main modes of transportation. Of course, as time went by and engineers began to experiment on the steam engine, Gottlieb Daimler had an interesting perspective. He wanted to create a closed cycle engine that could run very efficiently and power the cart or the carriage that horses used to power people and to carry people. So what does he do? This is basically what happened. This was the mode of transportation. If you're in 1886 and you're in Germany, this was the way you could actually do transportation. So guys, this is the grandfather clock design. This is the world's first single internal combustion engine that Gottlieb Daimler patented in 1885. It was most efficient at that time and had enough power. It actually had 500 cc, 446 cubic centimeters, and of course it could do 0.8 kilowatts. That was a lot at that time, and of course you do know that this particular patent was filed in 1885, just 1 year before they got into partnership with Carl Benz to actually create the vehicle that you know as Mercedes Benz. So this is the reason why. And the reason actually why it is called the grandfather clock is because it resembles the old school style clock. That was the design patent of it. So you could see it actually had an inlet, it had a carburetor, and of course you could see the flywheel, and then the piston would go up and down over here, creating circular motion that would now use a chain to drive the wheels that drove the carriage. So that's basically how it operated.
After they started making their own cars, they continued to put that engine and those applications into new vehicles, forward and forward. Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler actually used to live in towns that are 60 kilometers from each other, but they never knew that they were doing the same business. So these companies were running in parallel. Carl Benz with his carriage, his patent motor car, which was just a completely new thing altogether, and Gottlieb Daimler, who was trying to put an engine in an existing carriage. Gottlieb Daimler was helped a great deal by Wilhelm Maybach. You might be very familiar with that name. We've been seeing that name on some fantastic cars that are coming from Mercedes Benz. Maybach was the engineer that put everything together in Gottlieb Daimler's cars. So Gottlieb Daimler was a man of significant means, and he had the ideas and the capital to make things happen. So he partnered with Wilhelm Maybach, and they produced quite a number of motorized vehicles. So you can see, just started with the carriage, and then it moved on to now trains, onto boats. He was putting that engine, creating mobility in very many ways. So they moved going forward, making changes in technology, doing new things, creating new ways to move people from point A to B, until finally, one day, they came together and created the company that we now know as Mercedes Benz.
The best or nothing.
Up front, you do have a 157 kilowatt, 500 Newton meter engine, 2 liter bi-turbo, matched to a 10-speed automatic that delivers all the power to the 4 wheels courtesy of an interesting gearbox setup. It's got something called terrain management system that allows you to switch on different modes from rut, sand, mud, and now we got a new one, Baja mode, like crazy mode, like do not touch the red button mode. The suspension, totally different. Got other leaf springs. Now you got Fox Sport suspension that can take on any single road in sub-Sahara Africa. Even the worst roads you can ever think of, this car can do it with ease, without stress. Listen to that sound. That's a 2 liter bi-turbo, 157 kilowatts, working hard. The Baja mode sort of deactivates traction control maybe about 25%, but allows you to play with the car. Listen, that's a dip, and woof! That suspension would have never worked if you're on a leaf spring or any other form of suspension. And it pulls 500 Newton meters off torque to 4 wheels. Guys, I'm hammering this thing, and the 10 speed doesn't feel as if it's short breath. It switches on and off depending on the hill, depending on the surface, and the Goodrich tires. Again, listen to that. And I'm actually doing like 120 now.
I think a lot of people have been blown away mainly by the suspension of the vehicle. You're able to corner. We have a high-speed corner on that track, which we were coming around today at about 130 k's an hour, off-road in an off-the-showroom 4 car, which I think is quite unbelievable. And they've managed to make the vehicle absorb a hell of a lot without sacrificing stability, which I think is also great. It doesn't lean, and going flat out into a corner, you're able to pitch it in, slide the back out, and you don't lose it. You don't lose control. There's not a lot of feedback on the steering. So it's really great, and I think the engineering team have done a fantastic job.
What's the magic about the suspension?
The magic about the suspension, Trevor, and thanks for joining us today, hope you've enjoyed it, is these Fox shock absorbers. They're a position sensitive damper, which means we're able to tune specifically how much damping you get no matter where you are in the stroke. So the great thing about this is you can get the on-road performance and plushness and comfort, and then you can come out to a track like this where we are today and you really get the performance off-road. So for example, we have these internal bleed orifices. We're able to tune the size of that and where it is on the position of the damper. So when you're driving on road and you're just working in this part of the shock absorber, we're running very low levels of damping, so you get the comfort and on-road plushness. And then when we're working further in the range of the damper in compression and in rebound, then we can really increase the amount of damping that you get, so you don't get any crash through or anything like that. Also with these shocks, compared to a standard Ranger, they run about 2 times the amount of oil, which means we can really dissipate the heat quicker through these aluminium bodies. So you can drive the car all day and you get the same performance as you did on lap 1 as you do on the last lap of the day. So with this technology that we've got, combined with the wider track width that we've got on the Ranger, so it's 150 millimetres wider than the standard Ranger on the Raptor, the BF Goodrich tyres, the Wattslink rear suspension, it really adds up to a car that you can drive on the road and then really push it off road as well. It's a really comfortable vehicle, and the performance, as I'm sure you'll agree, is incredible.
It is. Another question I'd like to ask you is, when you look at the suspension of the Raptor, it now has a Watts linkage.
It does.
Something that you find on the Everest. Pairing this with the Watts linkage, does it change the dynamics of the vehicle, especially off-road?
Yeah, it has. The Watts linkage really, the beauty of a Watts linkage is it can move vertically without any lateral movement. So when you're in a corner and you're cornering and you're rolling, you don't get any lateral movement out of the rear axle. So it really plants and then gives you that confidence that you can really manoeuvre the steering wheel and point the car exactly where you want to go. And then on road, the Watts linkage really helps with plushness and ride quality as well compared to the standard Ranger.
Because Ranger is built Ford tough.
We've just seen what this particular can do. I can tell you, the Ranger Raptor, there is no pickup like it. However, there are rivals. What are the key rivals of this particular car?
At the moment, you're looking at the Nissan Navara Stealth, the Isuzu Arctic, and the Toyota Hilux
GRMN,
Yes.
which is a sporting arm of basically Toyota. That said, we know that this category is actually very competitive, and you can tell for a fact that now that Volkswagen and Ford have actually partnered, there's going to be a super Amarok Raptor perhaps, or a Ford Ranger Raptor.
Ford Ranger Canyon, you never know.
You never know, 2022, you just never know. And that is the end of it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us on Cars with Big Boy Trev. As always, it's an honor. If you have any questions, comments, or queries, don't hesitate to write to us, as seen on the social media handles below. Signing out.
This is Murigi.
And this is Big Boy Trev. Be safe.
Drive safe.